The dawn arrived in Porto Azul not with a gentle caress, but with a vibrant explosion of color. The sky, a canvas of infinite hues, bled from the deepest indigo to the most radiant gold, each stroke a testament to the raw beauty of the coastal town. The air, thick with the scent of brine and sun-warmed earth, carried the distant cries of seagulls, a chorus that had serenaded generations of seafarers and dreamers. The cobblestone streets, worn smooth by the passage of time and countless footsteps, reflected the sky like a mosaic of scattered gems, each stone holding a story of its own. This was Porto Azul, a place where the rhythm of life was as unpredictable as the tide and as enduring as the ancient cliffs that embraced it. Amidst this vibrant tapestry of life, nestled within the heart of the town, lived Kai. He was not merely a boy, he was a symphony waiting to be composed, a story yearning to be told. His skin, the color of polished ebony, shimmered like dark water in the morning light, and his eyes, deep and fathomless, held the wisdom of the ocean and the fire of 1,000 sunsets. At 12 years old, Kai possessed a quiet intensity, a sense of purpose that belied his tender years. He wasn't just another face in the crowd. He was a guardian of secrets, a keeper of rhythms, and a soul brimming with a passion that burned brighter than any flame. Kai's world was the Sabor Beaumont, a modest restaurant tucked away in a quiet corner of the town. It wasn't a place of grandeur or opulence, but it was a haven, a sanctuary where the aromas of home-cooked meals mingled with the murmur of friendly conversations. To the tourists, it was just another eatery, but to Kai, it was the universe itself. Here, amidst the clatter of cutlery and the laughter of patrons, he wasn't just a waiter. He was an observer, a listener, a student of life. He moved with a grace that belied his age, his small hands navigating the bustling tables with a quiet efficiency, his eyes absorbing every detail of the world around him. During the day, as he served plates of freshly caught seafood and fragrant stews, his mind would wander, composing intricate rhythms and melodies that danced within his thoughts. He saw music in the sway of the palm trees, the ebb and flow of the tide, and the vibrant conversations that swirled around him. His heart was a drum, always beating, always creating, always yearning for a way to express the symphony that was constantly unfolding within him. When the last customer had left and the restaurant was finally quiet, Kai would retreat to his sanctuary, the basement. It wasn't a grand space, but it was a haven where he could be himself. Surrounded by stacks of forgotten dishes, dusty boxes, and the lingering scent of spices, he would transform ordinary objects into instruments of magic. Buckets became drums, pots became cymbals, and lids became shakers. It was here, in this hidden world, that Kai let his soul soar, his hands moving with a passion that transcended words, creating rhythms that resonated with the very essence of life itself. The tranquility of Porto Azul, however, was not destined to last. One fateful afternoon, a shadow fell upon the town, a force that threatened to disrupt its delicate balance. A sleek black car, as imposing as a predator, rolled into the square, its polished surface reflecting the sunlight with an almost sinister gleam. From within emerged Mr. Beaumont, a magnate whose wealth was as vast as his arrogance. He was a man who had climbed to the highest echelons of power, leaving a trail of broken spirits and shattered dreams in his wake. His cold eyes, as sharp as shards of ice, scanned the surroundings, as if evaluating every person and every object he encountered. He entered Sabor Beaumont as if he were conquering a new territory, his entourage of sycophants trailing behind him like a flock of hungry birds. He settled at a table with a panoramic view of the sea, demanding the best of everything, treating the staff as if they were mere pawns in his grand game. His presence filled the restaurant with an unsettling tension, a sense that something significant was about to unfold. As Kai moved through the tables, serving drinks and clearing plates, his eyes kept returning to Mr. Beaumont. He saw the condescension in his gaze, the arrogance in his posture, and felt a knot of unease tightening in his stomach. He sensed that this man was not just another patron. He was a catalyst, a force that could either ignite a flame or extinguish it altogether. The dinner progressed with an undercurrent of unease. Mr. Beaumont demanded the finest wines, the most exquisite dishes, and the undivided attention of the staff. He treated the waiters as if they were invisible, snapping his fingers for their attention, their presence a mere inconvenience to his elevated existence. Kai, with his usual grace and professionalism, served the tables, but he could not shake off the feeling that he was being watched, that Mr. Beaumont's gaze was constantly upon him, like a hawk circling its prey. While Mr. Beaumont savored a rare vintage, his eyes narrowed as they focused on Kai's hands. He had noticed the boy's dexterity, the way his fingers moved with a swiftness and precision that seemed almost unnatural. A cruel smile curled at the corner of his lips, a spark of malevolence glinting in his eyes. "Boy," he called out, his voice sharp and commanding, cutting through the murmur of conversations. "I've heard rumors that you're a musician, that you like to beat on pots and pans. Come, entertain us. Show us what you can do." The restaurant fell into a hushed silence, as if the very air itself had been held captive. All eyes turned to Kai, who felt his face flush with a mixture of humiliation and defiance. He knew that this was not an invitation. It was a challenge, a demand to be belittled, to be reduced to nothing more than a source of amusement. Yet within him, a fire ignited, a refusal to be silenced, a determination to prove that he was more than just a waiter. With measured steps, Kai approached the center of the restaurant, where a small makeshift stage had been set up for local musicians. The eyes of the patrons were upon him, some with curiosity, others with a thinly veiled sense of anticipation. Mr. Beaumont, his gaze as cold as a winter wind, leaned back in his chair, his expression a mixture of boredom and disdain. Kai reached into the pocket of his apron and pulled out his drumsticks, those faithful companions that had been with him through countless nights of solitary practice. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and let the music flow through him, filling every fiber of his being. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer the shy boy who served tables. He was a conduit for the rhythm, a master of sound, a force to be reckoned with. He began with a gentle tap, a soft pulse that resonated through the restaurant, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The sound of the buckets, pots, and lids transformed into a mesmerizing melody, a symphony of everyday objects that suddenly took on a life of their own. As he played, the rhythm intensified, building in intensity, like a gathering storm, until the restaurant was filled with a vibrant cacophony of sound. Kai's music was not just a performance. It was a story, a testament to his resilience, his dreams, and his deep connection to the world around him. He played about the joy of life, the pain of loss, the hope for a better tomorrow, and the power of unity and understanding. He poured his soul into every note, every beat, every rhythm, transforming the restaurant into a sanctuary of sound. As Kai played, the atmosphere of the restaurant began to shift. The arrogance of Mr. Beaumont gave way to surprise, his disdain turned to curiosity, and his indifference became a strange mix of fascination and unease. The other patrons, who had initially watched with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, began to move to the rhythm, their bodies swaying, their feet tapping, their faces illuminated by a sense of wonder. Tears streamed down some faces, as the music touched a deep chord within them, reminding them of their own hopes, dreams, and struggles. Others simply closed their eyes, allowing themselves to be swept away by the tide of emotions that filled the room. Even Mr. Beaumont, who had always prided himself on his stoicism, felt a flicker of something unfamiliar within his heart, a tremor that shook the very foundation of his being. When the last beat faded into silence, the restaurant was plunged into a profound stillness, a moment of suspended animation where time itself seemed to stand still. Then, as if released from a spell, a thunderous applause erupted, filling the space with a wave of energy that washed over everyone present. People stood up, shouting, clapping, their faces beaming with a mixture of joy, awe, and gratitude. Mr. Beaumont, stunned into silence, could not find words to express the turmoil within him. He had tried to humiliate Kai, but he had been the one humbled. This boy, whom he had dismissed as nothing more than a simple waiter, had shown him the true power of art, the depths of human dignity, and the emptiness of his own materialistic pursuits. He had learned that money could not buy passion, nor could it purchase the beauty of the human soul. That night, the Sabor restaurant was no longer just a place to eat. It was a place of transformation, a sanctuary where music had broken down barriers, united hearts, and reminded everyone of the true value of human connection. Kai, the boy who played with his heart, had conquered them all with his art, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of those who had witnessed his remarkable performance. The story of Kai, however, was far from over. The echoes of his music continued to ripple through the town, transforming lives, and shaping a future that was as unpredictable as the rhythms that flowed from his hands. And Mr. Beaumont, who had been forever changed by the experience, was about to embark on a new journey, a path that would lead him to redemption and to a deeper understanding of the true meaning of life. The days that followed Kai's impromptu performance were a whirlwind of change for Porto Azul. The town, once content in its quiet rhythm, now vibrated with an almost palpable energy. The construction of the music studio, promised by Mr. Beaumont, began with an almost frenzied pace, as if the very earth was eager to give birth to a sanctuary of sound. The studio was not just a building, it was a testament to the transformative power of art, a symbol of hope and opportunity for the youth of Porto Azul. While the studio was being built, Kai continued to work at the Sabor du Mar, but he also began to explore the world of professional music. He received invitations to perform at local festivals and events, his music drawing crowds from far and wide. He began to collaborate with other musicians, his unique style of percussion blending seamlessly with a variety of genres, creating a sound that was both familiar and utterly new. Mr. Beaumont, now a changed man, became Kai's mentor, guiding him through the complexities of the music industry, using his vast experience and resources to help Kai navigate the challenges that lay ahead. He also worked tirelessly to establish the foundation he had promised, providing support for young artists and musicians from all walks of life. He had transformed his wealth into a force for good, using his influence to promote the arts and to create opportunities for those who had been previously marginalized. The opening of the music studio was a momentous occasion for Porto Azul. The entire town turned out for the celebration, the streets lined with people eager to witness the culmination of Kai's journey. The studio, a masterpiece of modern architecture, stood as a beacon of hope, its walls echoing with the promise of future generations of musicians. Kai's performance at the opening ceremony was nothing short of spectacular. He played with a passion and intensity that left the audience spellbound, his music transcending the boundaries of language and culture, touching the very depths of their souls. It was a moment of pure magic, a culmination of all the hardships, struggles, and triumphs that had led him to this point. Word of Kai's talent spread far beyond the borders of Porto Azul, and soon, he was receiving invitations to perform on national and international stages. His music was hailed as a revelation, his unique style of percussion captivating audiences around the world. He became an icon, a symbol of hope and inspiration for millions of people who were touched by his story and by the transformative power of his art. But despite his growing fame, Kai remained true to his roots. He never forgot the small town that had nurtured his talent, the restaurant that had been his sanctuary, and the people who had believed in him from the very beginning. He continued to return to Porto Azul, to perform at local events, and to mentor young musicians, ensuring that the legacy of his music would continue to inspire future generations. Mr. Beaumont, now a close friend and confidant of Kai, continued to support his career, using his influence to promote his music and to share his message of hope and resilience with the world. He had found redemption in Kai's music, a purpose that transcended his former ambitions, a legacy that would endure long after his own time. The Sabor du Mar remained a central part of Kai's life, a place where he could reconnect with his roots, share a meal with his friends, and find solace in the familiar surroundings. The restaurant had become a symbol of transformation, a testament to the power of art to unite people, and a reminder that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the connections we make with each other. Kai's music became a force for good in the world, a catalyst for social change, and a reminder that everyone has the potential to make a difference. He used his platform to speak out against injustice, inequality, and prejudice, advocating for a world where everyone was treated with respect and dignity. His music became a voice for the voiceless, an anthem for the marginalized, and a beacon of hope for those who had been forgotten. And so the story of Kai, the boy who had transformed buckets and pots into instruments of magic, continued to echo through the ages, a melody of respect, resilience, and love. His journey became a legend, a testament to the transformative power of art, and a reminder that the true measure of a person's life is not in the wealth they accumulate, but in the impact they have on the world. His music, a symphony of hope and resilience, would continue to inspire generations to come, a legacy that would endure as long as there were hearts to be touched and souls to be moved.